Welcome back to another Sunday prep day. If you're new here, every Sunday I prep for the week, so that includes cutting all my vegetables and making some things that take a bit longer. Like today I'm going to make some coleslaw and I'm going to make a salsa. And for the coleslaw I need some cabbage. I'm using red cabbage. Usually I cut it fine by hand, but since I'm going to be using my food processor anyway, I'm just going to quickly do that in the food processor. There we go. I'm just going to put that in a big container that I'm also going to make my coleslaw in. And actually I'm going to reserve a little bit for a stir fry tonight. So that is cabbage done. Yeah, let's start going over the menu while I roughly cut these white onions to go in the salsa. For lunch today, sandwiches with ham. As you know, I usually have sandwiches on Sunday because I eat low-carb, keto-friendly lunches normally, but on the weekend I have my cheat days. And then for dinner, I'm going to have some noodle stir-fry with some chicken. Then on Monday for lunch, I'm just going to keep it simple. I do meatless Mondays. And I'm just going to have some low-carb crackers with some cheese spread. So just throwing these onions right into the food processor because I'm going to make the salsa right in there. And also, before I forget, let me put a few whole cloves of garlic in there as well. So next up, some onion. I'm going to roughly chop or half ring this one for the stir fry that I mentioned for tonight, and for tomorrow I'm gonna do some vegetarian quesadillas because I do believe that the fake chicken I'm using does use some egg white or egg yolk. That doesn't really matter because I'm gonna use cheese anyway because I'm gonna do quesadillas. So yeah, quesadillas on Monday, vegetarian ones. So I'll have some onion with that. And for my coleslaw and a few other things, I need some finely diced onion. So I'll have 2 of these red onions that I'll just dice up. So that was Monday. For Tuesday, for lunch, I'm going to do some coleslaw with some sausage. And then for dinner, I always do Taco Tuesday, so I'm gonna have some tacos with some crispy chicken and more of that salsa. I'll also have those with quesadillas. So I like using ingredients that I can use in multiple recipes. Like in this case, the salsa will go in at least 2 dishes. So, what else? Wednesday for lunch, I'm gonna do some low-carb chicken burgers. I'm gonna make some buns out of some almond meal. And I have some ground chicken that I'll make into some patties. And then for dinner, I'm gonna do a butternut squash risotto with some sausage. If you remember last week, I made some butternut squash soup that I used for a meal on Meatless Monday, but I had left over because I made a big batch. So I froze that, and now I'm going to use that as the base for my risotto. So I'm going to take half an onion's worth of diced red onion and put that in with my coleslaw. And the rest I'll just set apart for other meals. So that was Wednesday. For Thursday, I'm gonna do some more coleslaw, and this time I'm gonna do with chicken. Might do some chicken drumsticks. Might do like a chicken breast. I just did a big haul yesterday where I got a lot of chicken for the freezer, so I have a lot of options to choose from. I just thought about it for the crispy chicken tacos on Tuesday. I'm also going to use some of the coleslaw with that for the veg portion. Well, the sauce is also going to be a lot of veg, but you can never have too much veg. So that was Thursday lunch. Thursday dinner, I'm going to do some stuffed peppers with some chicken. I might use ground chicken. I might do finely diced chicken. I haven't decided yet. Like I said, I have options because I have a lot of chicken in different forms. And I also haven't decided if I want to do rice or orzo. So I can stuff them with either rice or orzo. So I'm kind of leaning towards orzo because I don't use that very often. But yeah, we'll just see. And then we're on Friday. For lunch, I'm going to have some low-carb crackers with some tuna salad. So that's one of the things I need these diced onions for, because I'm going to use a little bit of diced onion, a little bit of diced celery, some mayo, some canned tuna, and maybe a bit of curry powder. I do like that. So next up, we need some garlic for the... Well, not for the salsa because I already put that in. But for the quesadillas, for the, what else? The stuffed peppers, the stir fry. You know what? I do like a bit of garlic. I'm actually going to put one more clove of garlic in with the salsa. It's, the recipe said 2 to 3, but I do like a bit of garlic, so. And then we're on Friday for dinner. I'm gonna make a curry with sardines. If you remember last week I made that curry paste and I used about half of that, and I was thinking what I would do with the other half. My first thought was a chicken curry sometime during the week, but then as I was looking at recipes to use the sardines, because I still have a can of sardines in the pantry, they actually made like a Thai green curry kind of style with sardines. So I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad way to use up a can that I've had in my pantry for a long time. And well, it doesn't expire until like next year, but you know, it's been in there for at least a year. So might as well use that. So I'll let you know how that turns out. When I bought it, I never actually had sardines, or so I thought, but these are like the pilchards, and I've had the pilchards in like tomato sauce before, canned, so I was actually more familiar with it than I thought, so I was like, oh yeah, that can work for a curry. So just one more clove of garlic. There we go. So next up, I have some spring onion or green onion. I'm just gonna roughly cut that because that's also gonna go in my salsa. I just want it to blend easily, so that can go in. And then I have some leek, and I'm gonna use that for my stir fry. So I'm not gonna use the whole thing, but I'll just cut a few rings. Yeah, I think that is enough for that one meal. Then next up, do some cucumber. I had one left over from last week, so I'll just have that with my ham sandwiches today. Don't want to let that go to waste. What next? Let's do some celery. So part of this is going to go in my risotto, and part of this is going to go in my tuna salad. So I'm just going to cut it lengthwise a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. And I think I'll do 2 ribs at a time. And I'll just dice them nice and fine, especially for my tuna salad. Don't want it too big. And I'll just do 4 little ribs. Then next up, let's do some peppers. So for my roasted peppers, I'm just gonna cut this pepper in half, clean it out. And I'll just roast these and then stuff them with my rice or orzo or whatever I decide on using. And then I have these pointy peppers. I have a red one and a green one, mainly for color, just 2 different ones. And I'll just cut these for my quesadillas and for my my stir fry. And if I have any left over, I can always chuck that in my tuna salad or something for filling. And I can use them in my crispy tacos. So I'll just clean them out real quick. And I don't need this super fine, so I'll just cut them into ribbons by cutting them across. So that's peppers done. Next up, some chilies. These are going to go in the stir fry, in the quesadillas, and also I'm going to throw some in the salsa. So first I have this cayenne. Just dice that up nice and fine. That's for the stir fry. And then I have a bunch of these jalapenos. I'll just cut in half, scoop out the seeds. Not because of the spice, but as you can see, it's a large pith, and I don't like having that in there. So I'm going to remove the seeds from all of these. So I have about 5 jalapenos here, so I'm going to use 3 for my salsa. And these 2 I'll just cut into ribbons and put in with the cayenne for my stir fry and for my quesadillas. And then next thing to go in with the salsa are a bunch of tomatoes. I'll just cut them in half just to make things a little bit easier. And I'll just do this for the whole thing. Now, if I had bigger tomatoes like Roma, I would have quartered them and take the seeds out so there was less liquid, but that's just not worth doing with these small cherry tomatoes, so it's going to be a little bit more liquidy, but I don't mind. And then for my salsa, I also need some cilantro. So I'm just going to roughly chop that. Again, just to make it a little bit easier on the food processor to get things spinning, because I don't want to over-mix it, because I still want it a bit chunky. So I don't want large bunches of cilantro in there, because then I'll just have to spin it longer and it will make it more like a soup. and that's not what we want. So that's cilantro. As always, save the stems. Those are great for like a curry paste or something like that. Next up, I just have some carrot. So I'm gonna get my julienne slicer. I'm gonna use this half carrot to go in my coleslaw. So I'll just use my julienne slicer for that because it's a lot easier than doing it by hand. That should be plenty. So I can put that aside, and when I'm done chopping everything, I'll make the coleslaw. And then I have another carrot. Part of that I'm also going to julienne for my stuffed peppers. And then the rest, I'll just save this for another time because I just want a little bit of these like little half medallions to go in my stir fry. And that should be enough. I don't need the whole thing. So put that in. And that is chopping done at 28 minutes. So let me quickly reset and put things away. So for the coleslaw, I have my onion, my cabbage, and my carrot. So I'll just add some salt and some ground pepper. I usually prefer freshly ground pepper, but for something like this, I don't want the chunky bits. So I use some pre-ground. Then I need some mayo. And always add a little less than you think it needs because the salt is going to draw moisture out of the vegetables. And it will be a lot more liquid than you think it will be. You can always add more if you think you need it, but give it a mix first. And then I'll add some mustard, French mustard. And I'll just give that a stir. And a little bit more mayo to make that come together. And I'll just give that a little taste. No, that's right, just the way it is. So I can put that aside. And then we have everything for the salsa, so the tomatoes, the chilies, the cilantro, the onions, the garlic. I think that's everything. So we'll add some salt to that as well. And some cumin. And I'm gonna cut this lime in half and juice that right in there. So I have everything in here with my cumin, my salt, all my veggies. So I'm just going to put the lid on and I'm just going to pulse that until it's the way I like it. Not too fine, not too chunky. So I pulse it a few times, but it's not completely even. So I'm just going to mix that around and pulse it a few more times, but it's almost there. So that's the consistency I wanted. Let's have a little bit of a taste. Yeah, nice and spicy. I put a little bit more jalapenos in than the recipe called for because I do like a bit of spice, and I took out the seeds, so it could take a little bit more chili. Salt is nice. The lime is nice, so it doesn't need anything else. So I'm just gonna put this in the fridge, let the flavors meld a bit for overnight. I'm going to use that tomorrow with my quesadillas and with my tacos on Tuesday. So, yeah, that's all my prep work done for the week. I can now have lunch or dinner on the table in minutes. I don't really eat breakfast. If you like this kind of thing, I do this every single Sunday. Sometimes I just do my veg. Sometimes I make other things like my salsa. It kind of depends on what I'm going to be needing that week. So, if you'd like to see what I do with all the ingredients, you can check out my Instagram. I post every single meal there. And about once a month I do a video where I post everything I ate that week. So, but yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Until next time, bye for now.